Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Highways and Hilltops with Charlie and Jodi. This week we're going to be covering episode 17, The Great Passion Play in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Yeah, we are fresh home from our 2025 summer road trip. So, you guys that have been following along with us know that we just got back from a 5,000 or so mile road trip with our brand new Brinkley fifth wheel. And we went to the Northeast this time. And it's a first for both of us.
Yeah, way different trip going up the east side. I guess from Tennessee all the way to Maine. So, trying to hit that Atlantic coast, it is definitely different. There's some big surprises on this trip, and some tough spots, some things we can keep you from maybe making the same mistakes.
Yep.
But yeah, super excited to start sharing that one.
Yes, it's going to be great. And we'll start recapping that trip, well, probably just in the next couple of weeks. I think first we want to do a everything we love or would change about the Brinkley show. So that one may be coming up next.
Yeah, it's a second. If you remember, we promised on a previous episode that once we got it out on the road, some of the things we thought about it, and we compared a lot of rigs. If you remember, I think the episode was "What's your favorite rig?"
Yep.
So we definitely want to get out there and finish that episode.
Mhm.
We'll finish this one, and then of course we'll get right into this, right into the 2025 episode. Little teaser, but it's going to be a great one.
It is. Yeah, we're going to call that one the Brinkley Review. So hang on tight. That's going to be coming up next week as soon as we get all of our notes in a row. And then we'll be jumping in with both feet for our 2025 summer road trip recap. And you are not going to want to miss that one.
Yeah, the road to Maine.
Hmm.
I'm going to call that one. Just name it now. The road to Maine.
The road to Maine.
Or the bad road to Maine, maybe. I'm not sure.
Well, bad, good, ugly. I think there was a little of all of it.
Yeah, there's some fun spots in there. So again, so
Just so y'all know, Scout is in here, and I don't know what he's doing. He's scratching at something. So if you hear him in the background, he obviously always wants to play when it's time to record a podcast. But we'll try to edit him out if he gets loud. But if he doesn't, then we'll probably just leave him in. And I know some of you find a lot of fun in trying to find his barks or scratches or snorts or whatever he's doing in the background.
he's glad to be home.
He is. All right, we are excited to jump into this week's episode. We are going to talk about our trip to Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the Great Passion Play. And really, this was our first real trip in the Brinkley.
Yeah, so we camped in it a little bit on the way home when we purchased it, but this is a true shakedown before the big trip.
Yes, it was. We decided that we wanted to go see the Great Passion Play. I have actually never saw it before, and you had seen it as a kid.
Yeah, as a kid, we went a few times to the Passion Play. I will tell you that it was way better than I even remembered it. They've added a lot of things to it, so it was fantastic. So, yeah, great place to go if you get a chance to go to the Great Passion Play. If you're a small group or a church group or even just with the family, it is an awesome place to go.
Yeah, I will echo that. It was really amazing. And I don't know how I made it 50 years of life without seeing that when it's only, what, 2 hours and 45 minutes from here. But I just had never been. We tried to go once for like an anniversary trip, and it was in March. And what we found out was that's the off season. And so remember we did get to do the backstage tour that time.
Yeah, if you remember right, we drove down there kind of spontaneously. It is a seasonal type show. When we went, we got a chance to go, and we just went ahead and went down there. And if you remember right, the Holy Land tour was still open. We still could do the backstage stuff. You can always see the big statue of Jesus, so that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, we went ahead and went, and it worked out okay. But definitely check for tickets in the seasonal stuff.
Yeah, for sure. The backstage tour was cool. We got to walk through those buildings where that you can see from the amphitheater, and we got to see the costumes, and we walked up that hill that they run up at the end, which is really steep actually. And that was the first time we really even found out about the Holy Land part that they were building.
Yeah, it's very physical in the backstage. The stairs, what these actors have to go through, it's a big deal. It's definitely an athletic kind of deal. Not just they're not just actors; they're kind of athletes, right? So
Yeah, it is. So if you've never been, the Great Passion Play is built into the Ozark Mountains in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. It is a big outdoor amphitheater, so it has stadium seating. The seating is actually nice.
Very nice.
It has stadium seating, and you kind of look down over this big stage. It has a big set built that looks like Jerusalem, and it just is really an awesome amphitheater set down in kind of a valley between two dips in the Ozark Mountains. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, so this whole play is set in the last few days of Christ's life. The sound is really something. After dark, they have all these beautiful lights, and it's an amazing play to see. It's one of those plays that really stirs your spirit. You'll love it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we decided to make this a quick weekend trip. We left on a Friday as soon as I could get home from school, and then we're back on Sunday evening. So this is just, 2 hours, 45 minutes or so from home. It's not a bad drive, but it was the first long trip pulling the Brinkley, like we said earlier. And we did run into a little hiccup.
Yeah, we talked about it in episode 11, but we hit a low bridge. And, really, I should have known better
Well,
because
wait, we didn't hit the bridge.
yeah, or we hit a spot where there was a low bridge, but
Yes.
I should have known better. When you go to Eureka Springs, there's a part of Eureka Springs that's kind of a downtown, really narrow streets, really low bridges, and then there's kind of a main road. When you hit that main road, there's a place you can go and get around pretty well. I should have known when we turned down that. Of course, RV Life took us straight down that road.
It did.
Um, but anyway, the bridge was way too short. We talked about it a little bit in episode 11, but um, thank goodness we were looking a long way down the road. We were able to get it turned around. We even had the cops involved a little bit because they seen we were having trouble and they come and helped us.
Yep.
But just a little quick pro tip: um, RV life is fine, but it's not perfect. So take
Yeah.
your one thing we learned is we do use RV life, but we also use Google Maps and we research our routes. We kind of give them a good look before we go and just try to be a little bit safer because again it's only looking for low bridges and things like that. It's not necessarily looking for narrow roads. It's not necessarily looking for traffic. There's no functionality in that thing whatsoever that tells you when traffic is heavy or anything like that. So just be careful, do your research, look your route over real good before you go, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so you'll have to go back and listen to that story. It's at the beginning of episode 11 before we jump into the Redwood National Forest. But we did throw it in there because that was the first podcast that we recorded after our trip, and we thought it was worth mentioning. I will say that after we have come home now from this 5,000-mile road trip, researching routes, having to think about our height, and using RV Life and Google Maps to navigate, um, you know, it's just hard when you haven't been there. And I think the good thing about the Eureka Springs trip is that we had been there and we were like, we don't know if
A
we
little bit
trust
embarrassing. I've been here. I know not to be on that road.
we don't know if we trust any of these roads. It had been several years, but we definitely knew when we turned down that road, we both of us had a feeling and we were just looking far down the road in front of us. And I'm thankful that we were because we knew to question that bridge. And even though the app said we could go under it, we chose to turn it around. So,
It's part of RV life. I mean, it's a little embarrassing. But when you have a problem, I say often on this podcast, when you feel unsafe, stop. And we
yep.
did. And we were also watching for a place to turn around as we stopped. And so all those things worked. It does happen. A little teaser for our episode for our 2026 travels up to Maine. It happened again. And really, we kind of found out at the end of that one that the bridge was fine and it was marked too low. So
Yeah.
you just have to kind of be careful and watch what you're doing and
Mhm.
don't let it ruin your day. I really had a hard time with that on this on this trip in New York. Man, I really had to eat my words and do what I said and just stay calm. Don't get in a hurry and just be safe.
Yeah. So, you guys are not going to want to miss our 2025 road trip recap episodes. I'm telling you. It was crazy, it was fun, it was wild, it was everything.
If anybody has ever drove through Conduit or Atlantic through the truck route in Brooklyn
New York,
with their RV and survived that,
we salute you.
I would love for you to contact us and let me hear about it because I survived probably the worst trip I've ever had for sure. I mean, at least this one piece of the trip. So
And we did hear on TV just, I don't know, 30 minutes ago that RVs hitting bridges is, like, one of the top insurance
top
claims for
five insurance
RVs.
claims. Yeah, for
So
sure, top five.
so there you go. If you have hit a bridge with an RV, or if you've had to turn around because 'cause you're like, "Mm-mm, I'm not gonna do it," then you know what? You're in good company because top 5 claims on insurance are people hitting bridges.
Yeah, and while we were there, we actually got to hear a story from a person who did hit a bridge and peeled the whole top back, and it was really a bad deal. They put
Yeah.
sheet iron across the top of their RV and taped it down, and it was just horrible. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's part of it. We just all got to be careful and stop. I'll tell you a little stories when we get to that podcast too about other people stopping in the road. So it doesn't hurt us to stop and turn on our blinkers. They just have to get used to it. So
That's right. That's right. All right. So in Eureka Springs, whenever I was planning this, I noticed that the Passion Play actually had their own RV spots. So I was like, hmm, that sounds great because we can just stay right there on the grounds. We can walk everywhere we want to go. And it was only $35 a night.
yeah, it was cheap. The spot was good. It was on kind of a steep spot. Everywhere we go in these KOAs or wherever we go, we run into these things. It's not a new thing.
Yeah.
But nice little spots there. We got to set the RV up, got to shake it down good. It did fantastic.
Hmm.
We complain a little bit about the height and the bridges and having to learn a few things, but the truth is this thing is so comfortable. It's so worth it. So
It really is. One good thing about parking right there at the end of their parking lot is you don't have to fight that traffic in and out. When it's showtime, you just walk over to the amphitheater. So that was pretty great.
yeah, the first night when we got there and we parked, we had the show the next night, right? So we got to sit out there and grill and listen to the show, and just to hear it and see the lights on the mountains without actually being able to see it was really, really getting me get geared up. I was getting excited for this show. So
Yeah. The next morning when we got up, we had the Holy Land tour scheduled at 11. And so you walk down to a ticket booth, you check in for that, and then they load you up on these tour buses and take you to these different stops throughout this acreage that they've deemed the Holy Land.
yeah, you can't miss this. This is fantastic. So if you love to study your Bible and you want to see these things come to life, this whole place. I mean, I was almost in tears this whole weekend. It was fantastic. But the Holy Land tour takes you down through. You get to see the Passover house. You get to see the actual temple. There's a temple in the desert at least, and there's a guide that takes you through there and explains all this stuff to you about the temple. They take you to the tomb, and it's just really something to see. If you remember when we first walked up to take this Holy Land tour, it was right behind the big. It looked like the wall in Jerusalem.
Mhm.
It had the big Eastern Gate and all that sort of stuff. And as soon as you walk inside, there's a market, and they do some early morning shows and some Bible studies down there, which was really cool.
Mhm.
Um, But this market to me was just like you were really walking through the streets of Jerusalem. It was really something.
Yeah, they've done a great job, building that to make it look and feel like you're actually there.
Yeah, and most times there's people in those shops, and remember the rocks and the carvings and all that kind of stuff. It's probably a good time to talk about our buddy too, right? So
Yeah.
we were going to stay down the street. There's another RV park about a half a mile away. It's
Mhm.
bigger, so if you run into troubles, you can stay down there. It's really nice too. It looks like. But where we got to stay right next to Philip
Yeah.
from the actual show.
Philip, one of the disciples.
Yeah, absolutely. So this guy's an artist. I think we might have mentioned him on a previous podcast. Wonderful guy.
Mhm.
We were out there cooking, and we thought, hey man, let's just feed him because he seems like a cool guy, and we had plenty of food. So we went over there to offer him some food, and he was carving rocks, and I was like, I wonder what this guy's doing with these rocks. But anyway, long story short, this guy's an artist, and he carves these rocks into all these different scenes, especially the Passion Play scenes. And he's one of the guys in the market that he does wood carving and glass blowing and all this other stuff. But his name is Chad E. Van Brunt,
Yep.
and he's a super guy. We made a friend. He made us a rock for our little I guess you would say lawn in front of our RV,
Yep.
and we got to meet him and everything. And when he got ready that night when we were going to our show, um, he showed us his costume and showed us that he's playing Phillip and all this other stuff. But wonderful guy. Um, anyway, look him up, and he's a great artist. He's got some stuff online for sale. But anyway, that's part of that marketplace that we walked through the gate and got to see, and it was really something to see.
Yeah, it's just amazing work, y'all. Amazing work.
And he's got a great story. So if you see him and you're down there, you got to ask him about his story and how he came to be part of Philip in the Passion Play. And I think he played other roles too, but of course right now he's playing Philip, and what he does with his artwork and all that stuff is part of his ministry, and it's really fantastic.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. So if you make it out to Eureka Springs to the Passion Play, be sure and look for Chad's work there in the marketplace and watch for him playing Philip when you go watch the show. All right. So whenever we loaded up on the bus to go down to the Holy Land tour, they really have some cool things. So they have a grain storage pit. It's kind of like a walk through history, really,
It is.
to kind of help you learn how life was back in the time of Jesus or even the Old Testament. There's a monument of the 10 Commandments, so you can see that. And then also, one of the coolest things I think in this whole deal is the replica of the tabernacle. So once you arrive to the tabernacle, you get off the bus and you walk around, and you'll actually have a tour guide that will tell you and teach you all about like the outer court and the inner court and the showbread and all of the different things that you're looking at. He talks about where the sacrifices were made and the menorah and the cherubim and all of the things. So, if you really are into Bible history, this tabernacle is literally built to as close as they could get it to the actual dimensions.
Yeah, I believe it's actually the right dimensions. It's even almost as close as you can get to the actual looks of one, right? So the ark, the priest inside and what he was wearing, the menorah, the table of showbread, the altar of incense, the wash basin, the bronze altar, all of this stuff is there. It's really something to see. The next thing on the tour that I really liked was the inn, and the way it's gated off, and they take you through there and they have actors out there and they're telling you all about the inn and about the fireplaces and about how people slept. And it really is kind of a first kind of a what you call it, a motor inn or something like that, right? It shows you the sleeping places, it shows you the cooking places, it shows you the gated off areas and the way they brought water in and all that stuff. So it's really something to see.
It really is.
So we traveled down a little further, and there was a replica. It was basically a building with a face off of it, and it was the kind of the replica or the rendering of the Last Supper,
Mhm.
and it had the table that the disciples sat around, and where Jesus, took communion and all that stuff.
Yeah. There was also one scene where Jesus actually comes down from the woods and walks on water. So that was really neat. They had an actor obviously playing Jesus, and he came out to a body of water that they have on the property there and walked on water.
Yeah, it was neat. There was a young kid that was talking to us during that, and he was telling us all about different things like the loaves and the fishes and all that kind of stuff. And then out of the corner of your eye, you see something coming, and it was Christ walking on the water down what should have been the Sea of Galilee, I guess. But it was really something to see.
It was really neat.
And then the last thing what we seen before our tour was over was the actual
Empty
tomb.
tomb.
Mhm.
And
As
they
you were
had a
told,
lady
my
out in
name
front of the
is
tomb, and
Mary
she was
Magdalene,
dressed in
and
the traditional clothing and stuff, and she talked all about the tomb and about the tomb is empty and stuff like that. It was really really fun. And of course, all these things, they let you walk inside, they let you see them. I mean, it's all kind of an interactive kind of a thing. I'd say this Holy Land tour is a good, what, 2 or 3 hours? Something like that?
Something like that. Couple of hours for sure. After we did the Holy Land tour, then we went up to the Bible Museum, and that is really amazing too.
Yeah, that I have never seen anything like this. So, of course, when you walk in, there's a gift shop, but beyond that, there's an actual museum. And I don't know how many Bibles is in this, but you can look at early translations. Um, there's some in all different languages. It's just really something. I picked up a book that I liked there, one of the ones that was for sale, and it was common Hebrew words and their meanings,
Mhm.
and how when you read your Bible you can refer back to that. That was really cool. And if you remember right, we went to the back of this museum and we met someone there. And it was a man who does trips to Israel every year. Wonderful man, but he's dedicated his life to this museum and this passion play. Fantastic guy. He has a 3D tour in the back, and it was just a few bucks. But you can sit down, they put these virtual headsets on you, and you can actually tour exactly where Jesus walked in the Holy Land. And so, what makes his tours a little bit different is he tries to go exactly where Christ went, where a lot of the tours in Israel, take you to all the popular spots. But fantastic guy. When the Passion Play started, he was sitting right down front and he just had tears in his eyes. But his name was Dr. Gary Crossland. He's a museum director. He's an author, a professor, but anyway, he's a veteran of the Holy Land experience.
Yeah, that VR tour was amazing. So if you end up going to the Passion Play, you have to go to the Holy Land tour and you have to go in the museum and be sure that you buy a ticket to do this virtual reality tour of Israel.
Yeah, and there's a deal called the Octagon Project.org. I believe that's where he developed all this.
Mhm.
And so every bit of this is his actual filming. It's not pictures and things like that.
Yeah,
So
it's wild.
over years and years and trips, he's developed this virtual tour off of his recordings, his knowledge. Um, And the place in the virtual tour where Jesus rose from the dead, oh my gosh, just to look at that. And then the funny thing about it that kind of got me going was you're looking at this place where Christ rose, but you also, when you raise your head up, you can see the top and all the pretty artwork, or I don't know what you call that stuff on the ceilings, the mosaics
Yeah.
and all that stuff. But anyway, he does a big Israel adventure every year. We would love to go with this guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, you should go by and say hi to Dr. Gary Crosland.
Mhm.
He's a wealth of knowledge and just a wonderful guy.
Yeah, and his passion for just teaching the gospel and teaching people about Jesus and getting people over to Israel is amazing, and it's contagious. Also, as you walk through the Bible Museum, you can take your phone and you can scan QR codes that they have set up through there, and you can hear different videos or watch videos about like the life of Josephus or chants, which is the sound of worship, and talk about early worship and things like that. So, those are really cool.
I just thought of one thing too. There's a free download of this interactive ebook. It's called the Octagon Tour. I think I mentioned it, octagonproject.org.
Mhm.
You can download that now and you can kind of see what it's all about before you go. So we've showed up, we've set our new rig up, we've got a chance to go to the buffet and eat breakfast. We went through the Holy Land tour. Fantastic, right? We're having a great time already. We've met Dr. Gary Crosland. We went through the Bible Museum, all that stuff. The cool thing about it, it's all right there in that one little space. The timing was just about perfect to go back to the rig, do some cooking, do some eating, and prepare for the show that night.
Yeah, we also got to meet Chad, feed him dinner.
Yeah, so when we fed Chad, it was actually after the Holy Land tour and after the Bible Museum. So that's the time we got back and fed Chad. So you know how it goes when you're cooking for two.
Yeah.
Got the smoker out. Hadn't got a chance to use it yet. I got a little smoker that folds up. It's kind of a tailgate smoker, if you will, but it's made by Traeger.
Yeah.
Dying to use it, so I get this thing out and I start cooking. I cook way too much, and I don't know. I just felt like, man, this guy next door, he's over there working his tail off right. I can hear him
Yeah.
working all day. I'm thinking, So I go over there and I ask him, I said, "Hey man, here's your plate. I cooked too much. Would you like something to eat?" And he's like, "No, no, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm good." Being all modest. And I go in there and I sat down and I start eating. And you're like, "No, no, he'll eat." And you just decided to go take it back to him.
Yeah, I
And
just
that's when
made
we
him a
actually
plate.
made a friend. So
And he was like, "Oh, I'm glad that you did feed me actually, because I was out here working and I'm gonna be late for the show."
yeah,
He was busy.
I think he comes in there and stays, does his work, works in the marketplace, works at the show, does all that, and then leaves for a full-time job several days a week. So pretty big commitment for these guys.
And he was so kind, and he gave us 2 rocks, 2 of his rocks that he etched on, which are really beautiful, and we carry that one in our Brinkley so we can
Yep, it
set it
goes on
out.
the lawn everywhere we go. So
Yep, so we can set it out at our campgrounds. Um, and then it was time for the big show, and I just didn't really know what to expect because, like I told you, I had never been there before, but it was far beyond what I dreamed or imagined it was going to be.
I remember as a kid, it's the size of this thing.
Yeah.
So it's like you're looking at the side of a mountain, and I don't know how many it seats, but it's a lot.
Mhm.
And when I was a kid, it was a big deal for all the churches to get all their youth groups together and take them to this passion play. And it just made such an impression on me. I'm so glad we got to go back. But the neat thing about it is when the show starts, there's so many people, and you're sitting outdoors in an amphitheater, which an outdoor amphitheater to me, we've done this a bunch of times,
Yeah.
is really my thing.
Yeah.
And the sounds and the lights and just the size of it. And it's kind of neat because all the lights will go dark in an area, and then another area will lighten up, and it'll direct your attention over there.
Mhm.
And all the work it takes to move this stuff around and get this ready for scene two. Say you're looking at the Last Supper and you're looking at one building and the Last Supper's in there, and while that's happening, Calvary, they're working on Calvary to get this going right.
Right.
And there's live animals and stuff running in the streets, and it's really cool. I think Chad has got a that's something special he gets to do. Um, just something fun about that ministry.
Yeah, for sure. It is really amazing, guys. Um, I will put a link to the Great Passion Play in the show notes for you so that you can go find out all of the information. You can look on the calendar, see when you can get tickets.
My
If you're going to
body
be in the Eureka
broken
Springs
for you.
area or you live, within a 3 or 4 hour drive, you should definitely plan to go to this. It is really something. And we wouldn't steer you wrong. We love Jesus, and anything that represents him and his love for humanity in this world is worth seeing. But this is a wonderful theatrical performance as well.
I think it's not just for kids, of course, but there's just something special about these
I am the vine,
youth groups and
you
stuff
are the
going.
branches.
It made such an impression
If you
on me,
abide in
right?
me
And I'm
and
now in my
I in
50s and
you,
I'm wanting to
you
go
will bear
back.
much fruit.
We just
Without
left
me,
last
you can do
week
nothing.
from watching David at the Sights and
If
Sounds
you
Theater
abide
in
in me
Branson, which,
and
by the
my
way,
words abide in
again
you,
was, I mean,
you
I
shall
was in
ask whatever
tears the
you
whole
want,
time. But
So
and it shall be
awesome.
done for
there's
you.
just something different about this
If you
place.
bear
I love
much
both
fruit,
of them,
you will
but this
prove to
outdoor
be my
amphitheater, you're
disciples,
you're right there and
and
you're
my
in
Father
in the
will be
mountains.
glorified.
Everything's
The
in one
Father
place.
has
It's
loved
not real
me.
expensive.
I have
Um,
loved you.
it's just a neat thing. I remember as a kid, my uncle Gary was always taking me to these things, and he's a pastor. And we would leave wherever it was, drive all day to get there, go, and he would take I don't know how many kids to this thing, and then drive back that night. I mean, there was no stayovers back then for these poor churches, but anyway, it just makes an impression on these kids. I think it's just a wonderful thing. I think it's one of those places that you definitely want to support.
Yeah, for sure. At the end, they do a call to salvation.
They do.
So they get people saved right there on the spot. And they hand out handmade white crosses for everybody that attends if you want one.
Yeah, just piles of them.
Yeah,
Just
piles
piles
of
of.
white
There
crosses.
wasn't a white cross left there. I mean, there was piles and piles and piles, right?
Yep,
They have, of course, not to change the subject, but they have snacks and eats and things like that there too. That's really nice.
yep,
And there's just something about that evening show there. And like you said, there was about 6 or 7 people down front, and I was really watching them because Gary Crossland, the guy we met in the museum, was down there, and his wife. and you could tell these are just like 5 or 6 people that this is their passion,
Mhm.
right? This whole thing is their ministry, and they keep things rather economical because they're wanting people there, but really nice place, and I wouldn't miss it for the world. I would go back tomorrow and watch it again.
Yeah, it's great. I think we for sure need to go again. It was wonderful.
There's one more thing that we didn't go see, but I seen as a kid. But where we when you pull in there and you see the Passion Play, the Holy Land will be on your right as you enter. And by the way, the entrance gate is unbelievable. It'll
Yeah.
bring tears to your eyes. It's a beautiful fountain that's coming in. But anyway, when you come by the fountain and you come in, the Passion Play will be on your left. This Holy Land will be on your right. The Bible Museum will be on your left. There's another thing coming. There's a round, for lack of a better way of putting it, it's just an old building. It's been there, I believe, since I was a kid. They're turning it into something new as well. So this thing is always growing.
Mhm.
And then if you go on through where you parked the RVs, if you drive past that and you go down there just a little ways, the road curves to the left. There is the biggest statue of Jesus I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's something like I don't think it's as big as that one like it's in Brazil or whatever, but it is really big. It's the Christ of the Ozarks, and you just have to see it.
We didn't drive down there to get a picture of it this time, but I'll try to go dig that up for you. If not, you can definitely see it on their website, and I'll put a link for that, like I said, in the show notes for you. I will also link to Dr. Crossland's Octagon Project,
hmm It's octagonproject.org.
octagonproject.org. I'll drop that in the show notes because we don't want you to forget. And yeah, if you find yourself around the Eureka Springs area or you want to plan a trip there, there's plenty to do in that town. It's a cute little town, and definitely the Passion Play is worth the drive.
There's some other little things to do around there if you don't want to mess with an RV or you don't have one or that's not your thing. There's some cabins you can rent.
Mhm.
We rented one on an anniversary once, and it was
Yep.
a cabin way down in the woods.
Yep.
There's some downtown area that's got some eating and some different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Eureka Springs is a fun place.
Mhm. There's also like a tiger sanctuary close by.
Yeah,
So,
there's other things to do there for sure.
yeah, plenty of things to do. It's also not far from Branson. So, if you were planning, a week or something and you wanted to do Eureka Springs and Branson, it's just like, well, I'm not going to say, but hour and a half or something.
Yeah, a couple hours at the tops. It's pretty
Yeah.
close.
It's pretty close. So you could potentially hit them both. But we highly recommend the Great Passion Play in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Say hi to our friend Chad and to Dr. Crossland for us if you make it down that way. And yeah, definitely something everyone should check out.
You bet.
All right. Well, are we finished?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, that's going to wrap up this week of Highways and Hilltops. Be sure and join us next week for episode 18 as we do that Brinkley review. We know that you guys are waiting on that one. And also, don't forget to connect with us on social media. Check us out on Facebook at Highways and Hilltops, Instagram at Jodi Charlie Keith. Thanks, friends, for hanging out with us today on Highways and Hilltops. We will see you next week. We hope that you're having a great summer and travel safe, friends. Until next week, we hope you get to go explore something fun.
Till next time.
Bye.